The first race of the Monster Energy Cup Series is held at Daytona for the running of the 2018 Daytona 500. A record-breaking 30 drivers has entered in for the 2018 Daytona 500, but only one will win today's race. Let's take a look at today's headlines for today's race. Introducing first, Daniel Suarez is starting on the pole. Could he be the first international driver to win the Daytona 500? Let's find out. What about Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr.? They both won their duels. They'll roll out third and fourth. And finally, Kyle Larson, your defending World NASCAR champion, will roll off 8th. Now let's get ready for the command to fire engines.
Please welcome Grand Marshal, two-time Daytona 500 champion, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Welcome to the sold-out 2018 Daytona 500. Drivers, start your engines!
As the engines are all fired up, let's take a look at today's starting lineup. In row 1, it is Daniel Suarez and Alex Bowman. In row 2, it's Duel 1 winner Brad Keselowski and Duel 2 winner Martin Truex Jr. In row 3, it's Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. In row 4, it is Jimmie Johnson and defending World NASCAR champion Kyle Larson. In row 5, it's Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney. In row 6 is Darrell Wallace Jr. and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. In row 7, it is Eric Jones and Jamie McMurray. In row 8, it is Carl Edwards and William Byron. In row 9, it is Denny Hamlin and Matthew DeFonte. In row 10, it is Clint Bowyer and Kurt Busch. In row 11, it is Danica Patrick and Ryan Newman. In row 12, it's Corey LaJoie and Casey Kane. In row 13, it is AJ Allmendinger and Trevor Bayne. In row 14, it's David Reagan and Austin Dillon. And finding out in the final row, it is Chase Elliott and Paul Menard. Here's your other headlines for the Daytona 500. Daniel Suarez is on the pole. Alex Bowman and Eric Jones make their first World NASCAR champion start. Danica Patrick makes her final World NASCAR champion start. William Byron is in the 24 car. And Chase Elliott is in the 25 car before switching to the 9. This is it. 30 NASCAR drivers believes they could win the Daytona 500, but only one will prevail as the Daytona 500 champion. Green flag is in the air. Daniel Suarez and Alex Bowman leads the field. Already for the backstretch for the first time, now to turns 3 and 4. Daniel Suarez is going to lead that outside. Could he lead the first lap of today's race, which is going to be 1 point? Daniel Suarez will lead the first lap of today's race, and also the first international NASCAR driver in this series to lead a NASCAR lap. As Daniel Suarez getting a push by Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch is leading the inside. As so far, Daniel Suarez is probably going to lead the second lap of today's race, and it looks like he's going to earn another point. Daniel Suarez will lead the second lap of today's race. He already earned 2 points. As here comes his teammate, he's going to take the race lead. Kyle Busch has taken the race lead from Daniel Suarez. And in second is Jimmie Johnson. So a really good start for the Joe Gibbs Racing team, as Kyle Busch will lead the third lap of today's race and also earn 1 point. So if you lead a lap, that is equal to 1 point. If you lead the most lap, that's also a bonus point. So far, Joe Gibbs Racing teammates are already on the board. As Kyle Busch is going to lead with Jimmie Johnson and Daniel Suarez, he's going to lead the fourth lap of today's race. So Kyle Busch and Daniel Suarez had a combined 4 points. And looks like Kyle Busch is going to try to extend that lead, and he's going to try to take the point lead away from Daniel Suarez. As this race goes by, the track is going to get cooler, and there's going to be a bunch of grip around this racetrack. DeFonte takes a huge tumble, and everybody behind him gets caught. The first caution is out. Never mind, it's the red flag. Let's take a look at a replay. What happened? Looks like Matthew DeFonte tried to make something happen as he tries to clear Denny Hamlin, and then everybody behind him stacks up. You can see DeFonte flips over, and everybody gets collected from the back. So it looks like everybody who is involved in this wreck will be out of today's race. and that's a 16-car pileup. As you see, Kurt Busch is involved in this wreck. Oh man, a great car by Kurt Busch. And you can see Denny Hamlin, Allmendinger, William Byron, his first World NASCAR Champion start will be coming to an end. You can see Danica Patrick, David Reagan, DeFonte, McMurray, Newman, Stenhouse, Trevor Bayne, you name it. And we only have like 14 cars left. So like half of the field is gone. As Clint Bowyer is the lucky driver who escaped that crash. So that's unfortunate. As you take a look at the replay at full speed, you can see DeFonte gets tumbled up and everybody behind him gets piled up. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Last week at the Seattle Motor Speedway, it was a great battle between Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. At the end, it was Jeff Gordon who led the most laps and wins at the Seattle Motor Speedway. So Jeff Gordon is leading the points over Tony Stewart. However, that is on the Nikon Cup Series, and the next race will be held at Daytona. So after Daytona 500 in the Monster Energy Cup Series, it is the Nikon Cup Series next. So Nikon Cup Series will host the second race at Daytona. As the red flag has been lifted, there will be 4 laps remaining in the 2018 Daytona 500. It is Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson is going to lead the field back to the green flag in the 2018 Daytona 500. It is Jimmy Johnson getting a huge push by Kevin Harvick on this restart. Now he's going to go on the outside. Jimmy Johnson's on the outside, side by side with Kevin Harvick. As Kevin Harvick is getting a push by Darrell Wallace Jr. We haven't talked about Darrell Wallace Jr. all day. This is his third World NASCAR Champion start as Jimmy Johnson's going to lead with 3 laps to go. However, the caution's out because Eric Jones goes around. The second caution is out as Eric Jones gets it refired. Let's take a look at what happened moments ago. You can see the contact between Eric Jones and Carl Edwards as Carl Edwards accidentally bumps Eric Jones as Eric Jones goes around. And this is everything. It's all or nothing because this is the Daytona 500, the first race of the Monster Energy Cup Series. And this is the race that only happens once a year. So it looks like Eric Jones will still be on the lead lap as you take a look at it again at full speed. So Eric Jones still has a shot to win the 2018 Daytona 500. And this is going to be the first attempt of a green and white checkered finish. We're in overtime at Daytona. Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick will lead the field. As Jimmy Johnson's doing the same exact thing in the previous restart, getting helped by Kevin Harvick. Down to the backstretch as they go, down to turns 3 and 4. Jimmy Johnson, could he win his third Daytona 500? He won this race back in 2006 and in 2013. The lap that's going to count the most is this lap, the final lap of today's race. Here comes Kevin Harvick on the bottom. He clears Jimmy Johnson, but here comes Darrell Wallace Jr. in the middle, getting pushed by Jimmy Johnson. Darrell Wallace Jr. gets a side drop by Kevin Harvick. Off for 3 and 4 they go. And it is Darrell Wallace Jr. brings back that iconic 43 back to victory lane. Let's take a look at the replay. What happened moments ago. And it was chaos on the final lap because everybody wants to win the Daytona 500. However, there was only one winner. As Darrell Wallace Jr. pulls up the upset, getting a side draft by Kevin Harvick. And nobody could catch Darrell Wallace Jr. As Darrell Wallace Jr. crosses the line first, and second is Kevin Harvick, and third is Kyle Busch. As Darrell Wallace Jr. burns it down at Daytona. An emotional victory by Darrell Wallace Jr. And this is only his third World NASCAR Champion start. Congratulations, Darrell Wallace Jr. He is the Daytona 500 champion. As you take a look at your finish results, you can find your favorite driver and where they lie. Here is your point standings after the Daytona 500. Darrell Wallace Jr. gets credit for the win, and he earns 1 bonus point because he only led the most important lap. Your point leader heading into Auto Club Speedway is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has 28 points for the third place credit. Plus, you gotta add having laps he led, which was 3 laps, plus 1 bonus point, which adds up to 32 points. So Kyle Busch will be your point leader heading into Auto Club Speedway. So points are awarded for full-time drivers. So today, Darrell Wallace Jr. earns 30 points because of the amount of entry of cars today. So Darrell Wallace Jr. wins the Daytona 500. He is also your Daytona 500 champion, and he pulls up the upset because this is his only third World NASCAR Champion start. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to watch the next race of the Nikon Cup Series at Daytona.